Hey Gritty 3Ders, today we're going to have the 8K Resin 3D printer showdown, the battle of the 8Ks. We're going to be looking at two behemoths in the 8K resin field, starting off with the Uniformation GKtwo. Everybody's favourite, everybody knows this machine, and I guarantee most people have got one and are using one. This will be going up against the new kid on the block, the Ultracraft Reflex RS from Gears. This is their second offering and it is an absolutely astounding 3D printer, following on from the footsteps of its absolutely fantastic big brother. Now, I have reviewed both of these machines in detail, so make sure you check out those full videos. Today's going to be more of an overview and looking at the similarities and differences. Now, Uniformation did not send me this machine. I purchased this machine a couple of years ago now for the princely sum of around about £700, whereas Gears did actually send me this RS free of charge for review and testing purposes. That's just to be completely transparent. So let's start off by looking at the cost of the two machines. Now, the Uniformation GK2, it's difficult to pinpoint cost down because they sometimes put sales on or special offers, but I'm going to take this straight from the website at the moment. It's showing on their Uniformation website as $749, so we're going to take that one at the moment as it stands. There may be discounts, there may be sales on when you look at the price, but that's the price we're dealing with for now. The Ultracraft Reflex, no real different. There are sales going on. I'm going to come to the main sale point at the moment, but let's just look at their standard price for the Ultracraft Reflex RS is $1,000. Now, it has to be said, if you're lucky enough to be watching this video between the 19th of September and the 4th of October 2024, there is an introductory early bird price for the RS of $799 with a further $50 off if you use my affiliate link. So that puts these printers for those 2 weeks only at exactly the same price. Then the RS will revert back to its $1,000 after the 4th of October. So just comparing the two machines side by side, as you can see, there's quite a few similarities in the two. Same size 8K monochrome screen, same light source, both using MFEP. It starts to get a little bit different then. The GK2 does have a filtration system whereby the RS does not. The build volume is slightly larger in the GK2. I suggest just have a little look through here. These are the differences. We'll go over some of these points a little bit later on in the video, but if you want to pause here and just have a look, you can see that on the whole they're pretty similar with a couple of differences and some quite stark differences as we start to look at things like their slicing software and their resin usage. Both printers have an easily removable build plate, with the GK2 slightly larger at 228 x 128. The RS is similar. It's got a one-click release strategy with a 222 x a 122mm build plate made of stainless steel. Compared side by side, you can see they look similar. There is a laser etched surface on the RS and more of a flat surface on the GK2. The resin tray on the GK2 is a 700mm capacity. There's no twiddly knobs, there's no slidey handles. You just literally push it in and pull it out to remove. It's got a quick release system, and the way that this operates is underneath the GK2 build plate there are 4 little legs that catch in the unit itself. These are prone to break, but you can get replacements. The Ultracraft Reflex RS has a 900mm VAT, so slightly larger, but it has reverted back to twiddly knobs. Yes, those knobs that get full of resin and you can't get out. Its big brother had nice little lift handles, but they've reverted back to twiddly knobs, just like the old days of resin printing. The GK2 will use any resin you choose. Here you can see me using their very own plant-based resin, but if you trip yourself along to Amazon, you can find any resin, and any and every resin will work without doubt on the GK2. The RS is more designed for using its strange shaped bottles of proprietary resin. Yes, its very own resin in its 900mm VAT, and here you can see that it does have a delivery system, although it is a little bit slow, so the first pour needs to be done by taking the lid off, but after you've done that you can insert the bottle and have a gradual release system so you don't run out. And the other good thing with these bottles is they don't spill which is like magic. The only downside with Hay Gears is their very own resins are extortionately priced. They are ridiculously priced. Thankfully, a cheaper resin has come out for $32.99. And although officially there's only a certain number of resins you can use in it, rest assured the RS will pretty much print most resins that you buy from Amazon, especially the basic ones. Now, it does say that it won't print some of the more complex resins, but that has yet to be decided and tested by myself. But if we follow their guidance, certain resins it will not work with. You'll be pleased to hear that both machines have an up and over lid that does not remove, so that getting your resin plate out won't leave you covered in it. But the GKtwo, you can't set it to any height you want, it just won't hold it, whereas the RS, you can set the height to anywhere. And if we just look at the two of them side by side, you can see that the RS will take less surface height area than the GKtwo, and this may be a game changer for you. Now, unlike its big brother, the Ultracraft Reflex, the RS does not, I repeat, does not come with a heated resin vat as standard. You have to purchase this separately for the additional cost of $200. Now, the GK2 comes with its very own heated vat as standard, which will heat your resin all the way up to 35 degrees. If you live in a colder environment such as the UK, you will definitely need a resin heater, so I suggest whichever one you get, make sure it's got a heater. There is a filtration system on the back of the GK2. This is an easy swap air filter, absolutely easy peasy. You literally just plug it in and it's held in with a magnet, and you can get spares for this too. The RS does not come with any filtration system as standard. Now, the GK2 comes with a Wi-Fi module. Now, it used to be separate, but they include it with the machine now, whereby the RS comes with its very own Wi-Fi. You can send things across to it's via its LAN, and it will instantly go across. It is, in my opinion, much easier to use and simpler to use than the GK2's version. Next, we'll look at user interface with the Hay Gears first. The UI is the same as its big brother. Although the touchscreen on the RS is slightly smaller, there's no loss of functionality, and the UI is an absolute dream to use. It's simple, responsive and easy to navigate. Full pictures of the prints from multiple angles, making choosing a file to print easy with no confusion of what print it actually is. Updating the firmware is also done from the UI. It's again seamless, quick and easy. Initial setup on the machine is a dream and easy to follow. Same size touchscreen on the GK2, 5 inches, the same as the RS. For me, the intuitiveness of the user interface is not quite as smooth as the RS, although it is perfectly adequate. I can't fault it really. It's just not quite as bright, there's not as many options, and it's a little bit chunkier than the RS, which seems more of a modern version. Now, there's no phone app you can use also with the GK2 UI interface. Both machines have a built-in hard drive which can be accessed via the UI. Any file that you transfer across before printing will be transferred across to the hard drive. Both UIs also allow you to see which print you are going to print in an image format. The RS is just a little bit clearer with multiple options, but both allow you to do this. So from a UI perspective, the RS for me is a little smoother, but there is definitely no problem using the GK2s. Bringing this back to the crux of the matter, do they print? Well, yes, they both print excellently. I would put them on equal measures for printing. The RS here printing wonderfully a Joker statue from Berserk Studios, and here the Uniformation GK2 printing the base from the Dracula statue from Wicked. They both print wonderfully. With correct exposure, things stick to the bed. Fantastic. And here is a little bit of a point of conversation. The GK2 will use your normal slicer, your slide sheet or your chitterbox, etc., but you do need to alter the settings. You do need to change exposure times, layer heights, etc., etc. for each different resin you use to dial it in. The RS, on the other hand, you don't do any of that. You literally just tell it what resin you're using if you're using their proprietary resin, and it does everything for you. You just say what resin you're using and it will do all the settings. You don't need to mess with anything. Now, when you use a third-party non-Hay Gears resin in the machine, there is a tiny bit of preparation. You just need to tell it which profile to use and just test a couple of profiles on a test print, and you will find one that works for you. It's normally PARP 10 or PAT 10, or on the new settings, the PAS RS10. These three tend to work with the majority of resins out there. The RS uses the wonderful Blueprint slicer, so we keep that ability for one-click slicing that we all adore. If you're new to Haygear's slicer, the Blueprint slicer, it has a simple one-click operation. This simply means that with one simple click of your mouse, the slicer will repair, position, support, orientate your model and slice it automatically. So your build plate is finished and full of lovely models to print. So no more fiddling with prints to get them orientated. The slicer looks at the model or models and using some AI witchcraft works out the most printable position and rotates it to that angle and adds supports. And while we're talking about supports, it's fair to say these are the best supports I have ever used, ever. They are minimal yet effective, a dream to remove with virtually no support divots. Once sliced, a single click will send the file wirelessly across the ether. The Uniformation GKtwo and the Haygear's Ultracraft Reflex RS are two very respectable 3D printers that cater to a slightly different user need and preference. The Uniformation GKtwo is the cheaper of the two. It is a well-liked and well-known machine in the fraternity, renowned for its precision and reliability, making it a popular choice for those that require their detailed prints. It features a robust build quality, a user-friendly interface, and supports a wide range of materials which makes it versatile for various applications. It's got its built-in filtration, heated resin vat, included Wi-Fi module, and reasonably sized build volume. It will appeal to model makers and bust builders to churn out their creations. It will require a little tweaking and twiddling to dial in your resin of choice, as each resin will need a particular raft of settings to give their best results. So some beginners may feel a little daunted by this. It's a mission of a phone app to monitor 3D prints on the go is a shame in the current smartphone world, but not a game changer to some. The Haygear's Ultracraft Reflex RS stands out for its ease of use and is designed with the beginner in mind. Resin parameter settings are not required when using the proprietary Haygear's resins. A simple selection of which particular resin is being used will dial those settings automatically to produce flawless prints. The one-click Blueprint software option removes the tweaking and twiddling that some beginners may also find daunting when preparing their files for slicing. Moving, orientating, adding supports is no longer a worry, as the slicer does this for you to your choice file and automatically sends it to the printer via Wi-Fi. You don't need to do anything. Although not formally supported by Haygear's, third-party resins can also be used, but require a quick test print to define which preset option works best. No dramas really. Haygear's own resins are very pricey, but they have released a cheaper option now that sells for a reasonably priced $33 a kilogram. It doesn't come with one of those strange shaped bottles that fits the self-feed system, however, but pouring it in is definitely not a drama either. No heated resin vat will mean an additional purchase if you intend to print in cooler climates or non-heated rooms, and when added to the initial cost price makes the machine a more expensive to buy at $1,200 compared to the GK2s at $750. Obviously, sales and different prices will come along from time to time. Now, I'm not going to say which one of the two is better, as they both have their strengths and they both have their weaknesses that will appeal or not to each individual separately. I just hope that this comparison gives you at least a level playing field to compare the two machines so that you can choose whether to go green or whether to go orange. But whichever way you go, you will be getting an excellent resin printer that can churn out print after print. Of this there can be no doubt.